Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a snow leopard. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's height, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the small marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. You don't have to draw a perfect circle, but if you're having trouble drawing one, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the left, draw a bigger circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Make this circle about twice the size of the head circle. Pay attention to the placement of this circle in relation to the head circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. Farther left, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Make this circle slightly smaller than the front part of the body. Draw this circle slightly higher up too. Draw a curved horizontal line inside the head for a construction guide. At the top, draw a curved vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom part of the head, draw a small circle as a guide for the muzzle. The bottom part of the muzzle should be outside of the head. On top of the head, draw two small arcs as guides for the ears. Don't draw the ears too high up on the head. Under the front part of the body, draw a long angled line as a guide for the front leg. Angle the bottom part of the line to the left because the leg will be mid-step. To the right, draw another angled line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the bottom of this line to the right for the foot. Under the back portion of the body, draw another long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the line near the bottom to create a joint. Farther left, draw a shorter angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. Connect the body circles using sloping lines to finish the guide for the torso. On the left side of the body, draw a long curved line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch two small circles for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the lines. As you darken the eye on the left, make the top part flatter than the circle. Draw a couple of short lines on the bottom right side to create the inner corner of the eye. Draw the eye on the right the same way. Make the top of the eye flatter than the circle, and then add a couple of short lines at the bottom for the corner of the eye. This eye should be a bit smaller because the head is turned. Inside the eyes, draw tiny dots for the pupils. Draw the pupils close to the top edges of the eyes. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small triangle for the nose. Place the nose near the bottom edge of the head circle. The nose should be big in relation to the muzzle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the lines. Darken the top edge using a wavy line. Draw a couple of curved lines on the sides for the nostrils. Make the bottom of the nose pointy and add a short line inside. Add a couple more lines on the edges to complete the shape of the nose. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the left for the first part of the mouth. The left tip of this line should touch the edge of the small circle. On the right side, draw a short line to complete the mouth. Curve the line up along the path of the initial circle to create the edge of the muzzle. At the bottom, draw a curved line for the chin. Use a series of short strokes to create a furry texture on the chin. Darken the arc on the top left side for the first ear. Make the left side of the ear more curved than the guide. Inside the shape, draw a series of short angled lines to create the ear's furry opening. Draw the ear on the right the same way. Darken the guide and then add a few short lines inside for the ear's opening. Use the main circle as a guide to draw the head. Draw a series of short angled lines along the basic path of the circle to create the shape of the furry head. Draw the bottom edge of the head slightly higher than the initial circle. As you darken the right edge, make it more curved to give the head structure. Use the second line from the right that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the shape of the leg wide. Make the bottom part of the shape curved for the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Use a series of short strokes and angled lines as you darken the shape of the leg to create a furry texture. Curve the bottom part of the shape to the left to create the foot. Lightly sketch the shape of the other front leg around the guide on the right. Make the overall shape of the leg wide. Darken the lines when you get the shape right. Use short strokes and angled lines to create a furry texture. Bend the bottom of the shape to the right for the foot. Draw a couple of short curved lines inside the foot to separate the toes. Use the long angled line to the left as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. The tip of the hind foot should be very close to the front foot. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. Use a few short strokes and angled lines on the left side to create a furry texture. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of short curved lines to separate the toes. Draw the visible part of the other hind leg around the short angled line to the left. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Draw the top part of the body slightly higher than the initial guidelines. Use a series of short strokes and angled lines to create a furry texture. Draw the shape of the tail around the curved guide on the left. Make the shape of the tail wide. Use a few short strokes at the tip for a furry texture. Draw the underside of the body along the path of the guides. Use short angled lines for a furry texture too. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up, but make sure that you go over your final line slowly and carefully to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. Now color your drawing. I'm using markers to color, but you can use colored pencils too. Draw the main part of the body using different shades of gray. Add light values at first and then gradually build up to darker values. Use dark gray to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. As you color, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Slowly and gradually add darker shades of gray. Leave the insides of the ears and the bottom part of the head blank for white fur. Add the color using short strokes to create a furry texture. Now add the distinctive pattern across the body using black. Draw a few stripes along the tip of the tail. Draw the rest of the pattern as small circle-like shapes. Draw these shapes using short strokes to create a furry texture. These shapes don't have to be perfect, just draw irregular circles throughout the body. Add a few black spots on the legs. Add a few spots inside the head too. Make the spots on the head very small. Go over the final lines with ink again to emphasize the shapes. Add a few short strokes across the body with ink to create a furry texture. Add some snow at the bottom using blue and a bit of gray. Keep coloring until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the Snow Leopard. Remember to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com for more tutorials. That's how and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let me know in the comments what other animals you want to see me draw. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.